way. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Collar and Elbow Experience. We're picking up with Chapter 5 of the Luke Williams story, WWE Hall of Famer, one half of the famous tag team, the Bushwhackers, Sheep Herders, so on and so on. So how you been, Luke? How was Father's Day weekend for you?
Good, mate. Ate too much bloody grub, but how you doing? My belly's sticking out. I just got it trimmed down, and now it's sticking out like a fucking barrel. What the F? You know, I enjoyed it. Sat back, had a few cold ones, and got fed. We barbecued, and I got fed. And talking about getting fed, I got fed.
There you go. Sounds great. I spent mine with my 16-year-old autistic son. We sat back and watched classic wrestling, some old Randy Savage, some Bret Hart, some Hogan. We had a great weekend together.
That's good, mate.
But
it's great to be back on your podcast. It's Collar and Elbow, mate.
Yes, sir. It's almost like it's the we should just call it the Bushwhacker Luke Williams Collar and Elbow Experience. Because most people that watch your videos, so.
Anyhow, where we were last time, and then I was in Puerto Rico as a booker, and I got a call from Bill Dundee. He says that he's moving back to Tennessee. Well, I like to come into Mid-South and take the book. He says Bill Wass asked me to call you, so here I go. And that, so I do a stupid thing again, but not really stupid. In Puerto Rico, you can't turn babyface there because the baby faces, they don't want any foreign person being a babyface. But leaving a territory, you know, if you're hot heels, you can always get a good month, 2 months out of turning babyfaces. Anyhow, I took the job. I headed to the Mid-South. You know, in Mississippi. Well, Mississippi, out of the office. Bill Watts' office was in Tulsa, but mainly most of the people lived around down south in the Louisiana part. What's it called? It's a French name. What's the French city in Louisiana? Not Lafayette.
New Orleans.
No, one beside it, between Lafayette and New Orleans. Anyhow, I took the job. I came down there to work and that. And when Bill Dundee left, they gave the book to. Hey, I'm having a shit this morning. I'm having brain farts. He was in WWE. He was in Buckhouse Buck, who was Dick Slater. They gave the book to Dick Slater in the meantime because I was about 3 months to close down in Puerto Rico. They gave him the book, and they brought me in and that, and they wanted me to take over. And he'd been booking there about 3 or 4 months. And I said to well, don't you get rid of the bookers? Usually when you bring a new booker in, you get rid of the old bookers because the bookers have their own system. And if someone else comes in and they keep the booker, he usually tries to screw the bloody system up. You know what I mean? Because he's getting a push out. And that they said they wanted to keep Dick Slater, but they're going to drop him down the chain, and I would take over. And I knew Dickie from Florida, and I said, "Oh no, I can't do that." You know, he was a associate friend, sort of that I've been around in Florida. You know what I mean? And I didn't take, and I kept pushing it and pushing it, and I never took the job, which was a big mistake. Because then, about 4 months down the line, they brought in Kenny Mantell from Texas. He'd been with the Lyrics and that with the free birds and all that angle, you know, the free birds and all that. So they brought him, Kenny Mantell in, and of course we were the top heroes at the time, tag team, and we were walking all over the place. And of course, as soon as he came in, he started bringing all his own crew from bloody Texas, the free birds and what have you. All of a sudden, we were still working the last match, but the Freebirds were on the card and they were making. They'd been in Bill Watts' territory before and did the big angle with Junkyard Dog where they blind and that. And they made big money for Bill Watts. Anyhow, he brought them back in and they were. I found out later on that we were doing the last match every night and they were making much more money than us. You know, about 1,000 or 500 to 1,000 more than us every week. And we were doing the main angle matches.
Right.
Anyhow, we were working with while we were there, we were working. Well, we'd work when we came in. They had built up a team, a black team. What's it called now? And I know that I met the guy about 5 years ago in Tennessee, and they were the Blues Brothers. I'm just trying to think who was in, not the ones that Vince had. This is going back. We're going back to 85. The Blues Brothers. Anyhow, he'd built them up pretty strong, and when we come in, they told us to run over them. So when we went to the ring first, so when they came out all the time, we jumped out the ring and beat them up and got DQ'd, even on television, which, you know, they didn't like at all. They were never told that we were supposed to be strong like this, and they were trying to fight back and that, and we had a bit of a battle there. You know what I mean? Anyhow, right. we got over. Tag team of the Fantastics. They bought it in after Billy went and the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express went. They bought in the Fantastics and they built them up like the Rock and Roll Express, you know. So we started our run with them. Hang on a minute, mate. Yeah, we started our run with them, which went on for about 6 or 7 months. We started with normal matches. They gave us a manager at the start, Jack Britton, Jack. He went to ECW and was in with Rip Morgan. He was with Rip Morgan too in WWC, WCW in the start in 2000 in the around the 2000 era.
Okay.
No. Yeah, he was with Rip Morgan then around the 2000 era. Jack Victory. Heard of him? ECW, Jack Victory.
Yeah.
And he came from Texas when Kenny Mantell came in, and Kenny gave him as our flag bearer. So he carried the flag for us and all that, because we always had an American carrying our flag because it got more heat. You know, the people would get pissed off seeing one of their own carrying a foreign flag.
Right.
We started a series with the Fantastics, and of course, as it goes, it went from normal matches all around the place to no DQ matches, time limit matches, and then it went to down under bunkhouse matches. It went from all blah 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 cage matches, and then it ended up in barbed wire cage matches. Now this is over a period of 6 or 7 months. Anyhow, in the end, we were doing these barbed wire cage matches and around the place and that, and we're getting our paycheck, and then all of a sudden I saw these paychecks, and we were last every night. The arenas were, you know, these were big arenas, you know, 18,000, more smaller one was 12,000, and we were doing good, apart from the spot shows. You know, they were pulling up too, but everywhere was doing great. And looked at the paycheck and I said, we're getting screwed here at the Butch. And I guess too, so I called up and I told them about the pay and blah, blah, blah. I said, we're not making any more shows. The pay is fucking way off. And then what's the name came back to us? No. What, whether we didn't go to a show one night or I left a message, we're not making the shows. And Grizzly Smith was the agent. And I told him that he talked to Bill Watts or whatever, and they come back to us and they says we could, before each match, each night, we'd pick up, they would give us 500 before all the big shows every night. And so something or other before the spot show. Now, if you work 7 days a week and you're looking at, that's 3,500, and we weren't even making $2,000. You know what I mean? It shows you what we should have been making, right?
Right.
We were making less than $2,000, and they were saying they're going to give us 500 a night for the big shows, and I don't know what it was for the small shows. Anyhow, that was and we knew then when they said that, as soon as we'd had to run with the end of these barbed wire matches, we were gone. They were going to fire us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we knew. So that was the end of that. That was the end of that. Meanwhile, a little story happened too. They were running 2 shows on a Sunday, and that we'd run somewhere else on a Sunday. We'd run somewhere else on a Sunday afternoon, and then come back on Sunday night and do Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge was the town that I was staying in. It was an hour and a quarter from the Superdome in New Orleans. You know, it was 45 minutes from the other French town, Lafayette. So we were living there. It was very centralized. You know what I mean? The only big halls was Tulsa and Oklahoma and Kansas City. And Kansas City was a real drag. Anyhow, we're doing these 2 shows and that, and the Blade Runners had come in. I'm jumping off track here, but I'm going to tell a little story of Blade Runners. The Blade Runners, you remember who they were?
Sting and the Warrior.
Warrior. Jerry Jarrett was trained on the West Coast by a bodybuilder, sort of wrestler, and a smaller guy. And then I was getting, when I was in Puerto Rico, I was getting their photos sent to me all the time and vignettes of them. They were monstrous. The Warrior was going to be near 300 pounds at the time.
Yeah, they were put together by a guy named Bill Anderson.
No. Bill Anderson, I know Bill Anderson well. But the guy trained them. He wasn't the trainer.
Right.
What's his name? Bill worked with the guy trainer. He's a well-known guy in the West Coast. He trained a lot of guys. You know, tried to train them. Anyhow, Jerry Jarrett had them for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, he thought he'd make some money with Dundee and Lawler. He couldn't make any money in 2 weeks because these were monsters and that. So he got rid of them. And of course, Bill Watts, all these 2 big guys. Bill Watts' territory at the time was big guys. You know, it had been big guys. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, One Man Gang, Bam Bam Bigelow, you know, Junkyard Dog, Jake the Snake, you know, Ted DiBiase. Well, he was a smaller. Ted was about 260, but you know, everyone was bigger. Anyhow, he brings them in there, and he put straight away. Bill gets back on television as the 3rd commentator, and he starts putting them over on television, putting them over, you know, talking. And then about the 4th week, he did an interview with them, live ringside and that, and worked an angle with them, where he came back. He came out of retirement and worked with him and Gilbert. What's his name now?
Eddie Gilbert.
Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah.
Eddie Gilbert. He loved Eddie Gilbert, and so Eddie Gilbert was a good babyface and a small guy like a Ricky Morton. Anyhow, he worked a match with them, and boy, they didn't know Arthur from Martha, mate. This was 4 weeks in, or 3 weeks in, and came back to the dressing room, and you heard Bill Watts was a screamer. He wouldn't pull the guys into an office or anything. He would just come into the dressing room and rip a new asshole in front of all the boys. He come back into that dressing room, and he said to the four of them, he said in front of all the boys, he said, "See this fist? When I make a comeback, beat this fist." He says, "This is the fucking hand that writes your fucking checks. Remember that." Of course, we all laughed. We all sniggered. We didn't laugh in front of him, but we all sniggered. That way, instead of pulling him in the room anyhow, after that, the Warrior, they both decided to leave, and Bill called Eddie Gilbert and got Eddie Gilbert to go and see Sting and back Sting. So when they went to both to leave, the Warrior left, and Jim Hellwig left, and Sting stayed, and hence the start of the grooming for Sting. He kept Sting, and that. Meanwhile, yes, so Sting stayed. Yeah, getting back to this double shot we did, and that one day there was the booker who was there before. Who did I say the booker was there when I started there?
It was Dick Slater.
Yeah, Dick Slater, and me and some of the crew worked another town, and then we came into Baton Rouge to work the night town. Dick Slater had heard that his girlfriend and manager, Dark Journey, had traveled with Sting, and something was going on, and that's where, I don't know whether the story has been on the internet, that's when he came into the bathroom where Sting was and beat him up and put his head down the toilet. We had to pull back Dick Slater. We had to pull back Dick Slater in that situation. That was before Ken Mantell came in as the booker. Anyhow, getting back to where I was finished, I jumped track there. Anyhow, we left, and we came back to Florida and started working between the territories. We started working Florida.
Right.
You know, which was an NWA territory, and yeah, that started working in Florida, and blah blah blah. In the meantime, there was a bit of a scandal in UWA for Mid-South that the owner had been playing around with Dark Journey. Dick Slater had left, and Dark Journey and the owner who just mentioned, he said this is the hand that writes the check.
Right.
What? His wife found out, and he had to sell the territory. And NWA, the Crockett's bought the territory from enlarge their territory, and we were working for an NWA company, which Dusty was sort of in the office in Charlotte, but trying to look after Florida too, and hence we were back in the NWA then, on the road, and we got there, and as soon as they bought it, we got the belts that we were taking care and got the belts back, the tag belts of UWF, and hence we carried on with NWA.
Right.
And had our run there, had our run back in out of Charlotte. We moved back to Charlotte, and we're working for Jim Crockett. I hadn't worked for him since 1981, 82, when we gave him notice, 6 weeks notice. I think I told you before, you don't give Jim Crockett notice. He tells you to leave. And that many times in that 6 years or 5 years, Dusty wanted us to come back there, but Jim wouldn't hire us back because we left him. So anyhow, we're back there now, and the funny part is we're only back there. We're running around the territory with the Rock and Roll Express, doing good business, and we shot a bit of an angle. He shot a bit of an angle with skyscrapers. Next, Luger and Barry Windham. We shot that in the television studio or the house show, and then it was, I think it was a studio. It was put in the can to wait a couple of weeks to bring it out. Hence, that's when we got the call from WWE. I was working in Columbus, and we're in the gym every Saturday morning. And when I finished working out, I never did stomach those days. You know, the drums. I never worked on my stomach, the core. Butch always worked the core for to my phone to pick up my messages from Charlotte, where I was based in Charlotte, and there was a voicemail there from a Pat. I didn't know who the fucking Pat was. Anyhow, he says, call me when, you know, it's pretty, he said, call me if you can, it's urgent, or semi-urgent. So I called this Pat, and I said, Pat, and he says, yeah, it's Pat here, Pat Patterson. He said, I got someone to talk to you. And he had me on speakerphone, and the voice said, this is Vince McMahon here, Kiwi. How the bloody hell are you doing? And I'm on the phone with Vince. I've been sending tapes in from to Vince Senior from 1982 on Betamax. And it's gone from Betamax, you know, the DV to blah blah to normal tapes and all that. Anyhow, I still sent tapes in, and that's so anyhow. But I guess Pat has seen us at a show in Tampa. They did a big outdoor show in Tampa, NWA. And Pat lived in Tampa at the time, so he must have gone back and said blah blah blah. You know, they've been around. They're going to blah. Anyhow, so Vince says, "When are you free? I'd like to talk to you in person." And we says, "When do you want us?" Because we didn't care. We took a day off. You know what I mean? And then I think Wednesday was the tape day, and then we said to the office, something or other. Anyhow, Wednesday morning we flew up in the morning to New York. There's a limousine there, take us to the office in Connecticut. We got there, we waited. We went into Vince's office, and there it was. Vince said to us, I'd like to bring you in as baby faces, good guys. And Butch got up on the desk and was about a foot away from Vince's nose, and he says, if you can make these faces baby face, go for it. And then straight away, he says, well, look at the marks on my top baby faces. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Axel Jim Duggan. He says, they're not the sweetest baby faces. He had to laugh. Of course, I piped up being old-fashioned and says, bring us in his heels and turn us. And you didn't tell Vinnie Mac what to do. You know, his nickname was Caesar at the time, and that's you did. You know, he had his game plan, and that was it. And then he said, "I'll bring you up for the next month or so, 6 weeks, and do vignettes every week. I'll bring you up, and we'll do about 4 vignettes." At the time, he had 3 different shows on television. There was no. He had USA Network, but he still had other networks. You know, he hadn't had the falling out with the sex scandal and the drug scandal like in 1992, 93. He still had NBC, ABC, and all that. So he started coming up every week and doing vignettes. Anyhow, we flew back to I jumped ahead of myself there. We flew back to Charlotte. The next day there was a thing in the mail, or 2 days later, a big thick thing about this thick. It was contracts. Butch called me up. He says they must have sent the wrong contracts to us. This is for the bushwhackers. And I said when he called me up, we were living in the same apartment buildings, but it was different blocks in Charlotte. And I said to him, no, he wants to own us, you know, because WWE, there was big merchandising. Are you there, Haxton? Hello? I lost.
Yeah, I'm still here. It was someone trying to call me. I had to hurry to hit the end button. But okay, so Butch called you about the checks from Vince.
Not the checks, the contract.
Contracts. I mean, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Hey, a contract, and then I said Vince wants to own us because the NWA was a wrestling company. WWF, they made celebrities. You weren't only a wrestler, you were a celebrity, and the merchandising was a big thing about it. We'd all heard that the Sheik had a quarter of $90,000 back in the heyday with merchandise. You know, it was big time.
Right.
Yeah, you know, we signed them, sent them back. Hence, we started coming up and every week and doing vignettes. At that time, Crocodile Deep movies were hot, and we were two guys from down under. So he followed through. He came up with his own gimmicks, and then he gave us the idea that we exaggerated the down under. You know, you drive on the wrong side of the road. When you walk around, you walk the different side of the street, you know, and different sayings, different sayings and different situations. We did a lot of different vignettes. I don't know whether you saw them, but there was a lot of them.
I remember like when y'all were eating sardines.
Yeah, Mean Gene eating bushwhacker buzzard up in the mountains. That was up in the mountains of Tucson. They found an old shack there, and we had a dog in the shack, and they had it all set up, and that was a bushwhacker shack, and then we were cooking bushwhacker buzzard outside, and we did restaurants. We go to a diner, and they'd bring out. We'd order the whole menu, and then the table would be covered. The butcher picked the knives and forks up and says, "We won't be needing these." Threw them over his shoulder, and we started eating with our hands.
Right.
Yeah, then we came to drink machines. We'd never seen machines for a confection, sweets or drinks in our life and all that sort of stuff. And we started shaking the machine. We didn't know you had to put money in them. All different shit, and that's what got us over. Yes, so then we started our bloody life with Vince, and that after about a month and a half, 2 months of doing these vignettes, they took us on the road, and the agents all wanted different agents. There was Grizzly Smith was there at the time, George Steele. Every agent wanted us to come to the ring different. Jack Lanza and the old AWA champion too, Dick Bonquick. That they all wanted us to come to me. Well, one of us wanted to come out of the bleacher upstairs in the stands, come out and walk down from the bleachers, or come out from the second landing and come out the popcorn drinks. One of us was drinks, the other was the popcorn to the ring. And the cameras from one side of the arena to the other side of the arena for us entering the ring, and it didn't work. We both had to be together. So, when we were heels, when we were thrown out of the ring, went out of the ring, we always screamed, "Whoa!" or "Yay!" at the fans and swung our arms up in the air like that, "Whoa!" trying to scare the fans. And then Butch said to us, "Let's fucking start marching to the ring, high stepping and swinging our arms." And we still use the wall with the yay that we've been using for years,
Right.
Hence the start of them, as Jesse Ventura would say, the start of the Marching Maniacs. That's what Jesse. Here comes the marching morons. Sorry, marching morons. That was the start, and of course the head licking came in too. I always put my hand over the head and lick the back of my hand. was quick. People didn't see it. Anyhow, you know, and that's what people have remembered us from all those years. They didn't remember our wrestling. They remembered these two fucking morons marching around the ring, marching to the arena and to the ring, and marching around the ring, and high stepping and licking heads. You know, who did that? Nobody. And that stuck to this day, you know what I mean? To the older fans, you know, the third generation back. You know, that was 217. That's 23 years ago, or 22, you know, since we were both in the ring together, you know, we with WWE or WWF. I've been doing it, I'm still doing it, but together that was. We were still doing it together at spot shows up to 202. So that was hence our start with WWE. Now, should we leave it there today and then start on the WWE story next week?
All right, sounds good. That sounds good.
Now, otherwise, we're going to go in and cut off halfway through that. You know what I mean?
Right. I just wish WWE would have gave y'all a better push. Like I never understood why you guys didn't end up with the straps. You know, the tag team titles.
Well, I tell you why. I'm going to tell this in the story. If this is not going on, we're off air now, right?
No, we will be in a second though. All right, look. Well, it's great talking to you. If you got anything you want to plug, any upcoming events, please do so.
Yeah, hey, folks, just go to my website, bushwhackerluke.com. Bushwhackerluke.com. Whacker is WHACKER. There's photos, there's a belt, and there's t-shirts for sale there. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
All right, Luke, it was great talking to you. We will see you next week.
Okay.